Now, in a lot of my videos, I discuss whatever your goal is in working out. There are three pillars, and that is recovery, diet, and then training. If you don't have these two, you can't have the third piece, and you can't have your end goal. So I'm going to be going over kind of a lot of the knowledge that I've compiled over time that has led to the routine that I have now. And of course, I'm talking about my supplements. Now, to an outsider, it probably seems like I spend a stupid amount of money on supplements. A lot of them probably seem useless, and maybe they're right. But these are all of the things that I feel genuinely help me to not only be in the best situation possible as a power lifter, but also going about my day regularly, whether that's work or just having a healthy brain. So in order, I'm going to be going over the things that, one, help me on a daily basis. Two, the things that help me with my sleep, because I'm someone who has struggled with sleep literally since I was a little kid. And three, I'm going to go over the things that help me in my training. So first, I'm going to get into the things that I use that help me on a daily basis. And the first of those things would be vitamin D3. Now, D3 is probably one of the most common supplements. It helps with your immune health, your bone health, and honestly, your overall just well-being. I personally take a 5,000 IU capsule per day, and to most people that might seem like overkill, but with a lot of the things that I do for my health, it probably seems like overkill. 1,000 and 2,000 is fine for the average person. I'm not the average person though, so that's whatever. Vitamin D3 is also something you can get from the sun. Just standing outside in the sun and taking in sunlight can help you get adequate amounts of vitamin D3. And for the guys out there, yes, vitamin D3 is one of these pillar nutrients that you need for healthy test levels. So I'd probably recommend it for you. The second thing that I have is fish oil. Now, fish oil can be one of the most beneficial things you can get if you can get your hands on the right one. Do your due diligence, do your research in finding one that has a high DHA level, because those are the ones with the most brain benefits. And aside from the mental benefits of lowering your depressive symptoms and just uplifting your mood a bit, that's what I personally notice the most. It's also going to be incredibly useful towards your heart health. And in case anyone's curious, all of the information that I'm getting for these supplements is coming from examine.com. Not sponsored in any way, but Examine is the one informational piece that I trust the most, because they literally list all the information about a supplement or any sort of thing that's being researched, and they have links to the studies that they're getting these results from. That is about as verified and scientific as you can get. In my last video, I mentioned you're always going to run into people who have the miracle supplement, the miracle pill, the goat liver that gets you steroid-like gains. None of that stuff can be true unless it's scientifically studied. Pretty much all of the links in examine.com, I'm going to put that in the description of this video. And the last thing that I take on a daily basis, kind of just to overall cover my daily routine, is a multivitamin. Now, specifically, I take the Thorne AM and PM multivitamins. Anyone, you can look these up on Amazon. They are expensive. I'll be honest right away. If you don't really feel like you have the budget to get your hands on that, by no means should you. I just use it kind of as a mental thing, as an insurance policy, to where I never really have to worry about being deficient in any vitamins or minerals, because that will have it covered. Anyone who knows me knows that I've always had trouble sleeping. It's no secret. I've had trouble sleeping since I was a little kid. So over time, I've had to recently just develop some strategies on how to sleep easier, because sleep is one of those things, like I'll say this time and time again, if sleep was not natural, like if we didn't naturally sleep, it would be a performance enhancing drug. The difference between having 2 hours of sleep and 8 hours of sleep is like, you're in a different world entirely. Your brain has more capacity. You operate better, like you're faster, you're stronger. Everything is better when you sleep more. And I'm talking to you specifically, the kid in high school who is actively watching this at 3 a.m. on their phone when you should be going to bed before school, because that was me. That was me. So please understand that literally just sleeping better will have the most dramatic effect on your performance, your health, your mental health. That being said, there are a couple of supplements that I personally use to maximize this. And even still, I struggle a lot of nights to sleep on time and sleep for a long period of time, but these have helped a lot. The first would be Gorilla Dream. Now, probably looks like I'm plugging Gorilla Mind a lot with pretty much a lot of my videos because I mention them so much, but honestly, Gorilla Dream, it's pretty much just stacked with a bunch of things that help you relax your brain and recover as you're sleeping so that you sleep longer. The important thing is not just falling asleep, but staying asleep for a long period of time. And I think whenever I take this, it genuinely does help me sleep for longer periods of time and also just stay more relaxed at night. The second thing that I've implemented pretty recently is this Magnesium Glycinate. Now, this is kind of bordering on bro science when it comes to actually helping you sleep. That's because there's no real solid evidence of it genuinely helping people sleep more, but there are a couple of studies that say it helps with people who have sleeping disorders. I'll be honest, I watched the YouTube video. I watched some YouTube videos that said it was helpful, and I don't sleep that well, so I bought it, all right? That, if you want to call that stupid, go ahead, all right? The last thing that pretty much anyone who has had trouble sleeping before knows about is melatonin. So anywhere from like 1 to 5 milligrams of melatonin a night. It's one of those things that like you take it, 30 minutes later, your eyes are heavy, you want to go to bed, you're kind of sleepy. Now, I'll be honest, I use melatonin very often, like to the point where I probably should slow down, and I recognize that. And the important thing you need to know about melatonin is that over time, you're going to start developing a tolerance. So try to sleep naturally as often as you can. And by no means should you be relying on drugs to help you sleep. So this is for the people that are using NyQuil or ZQuil or Benadryl. Any of that stuff, I rarely ever use it to actually fall asleep. Would not recommend that as a supplement at all. Now, the last part of the tree that we need to address is things that help you train and build muscle. And I cannot start a list about this without saying creatine. I've literally described creatine to people a million times, and there's still going to be a million people's uncles out there saying that it's an anabolic steroid. And I'll say it a million more times. Creatine is probably, if not the most researched supplement pretty much of all time, especially when it comes to like the muscle building world. Creatine, I've been taking it probably for the last 3 years. I've seen nothing but benefits from it. And here's how creatine works, to keep it simple and not too sciencey. So to put things simply, creatine works by drawing water into your muscles, and this allows them to use more of their stored energy. And this will result in increases in performance. That set where you probably couldn't get more than 10 reps, you're maybe squeezing out 11 or 12. And you'll notice this probably after the first 3 to 4 weeks of supplementing with creatine. In my own and other people's cases, I've also seen it kind of just make you look fuller. Your muscles look rounder, they seem bigger. That's because they've got water drawn into them. And honestly, what people usually say is the main drawback of creatine is that it results in weight gain. But if you're a guy like me who's trying to put on weight, it's literally a win-win. And most of that weight is water weight since you're drawing water into the muscle. Protein powder. Now, this supplement is probably such a no-brainer to me that I almost forgot to include it on this list. But essentially, protein powder is just a shortcut. If you are at all interested in building muscle, you need protein in your diet. I don't get into like the wacky numbers or anything. 1 gram per pound of body weight is what you should be getting if you want to build muscle. If you want to make sure you're not leaving any room for error, 1 gram per pound. You can either eat 170 grams of chicken breast or 2 scoops of whey. Your choice. Especially if you're bulking, this is really helpful because now you don't have to chew through all that food in order to hit your macros. Sweet. I don't really use that protein powder that often anymore because I do implement fuller meals into my daily routine. But honestly, this is a no-brainer kind of supplement for me. And the last thing that I'll mention is pre-workout. Now, pre-workout is one of those things that, yeah, I have used it pretty much on and off for the last 2 years now. My go-to is usually the Gorilla Mode Signature series. That's probably one of the most stacked pre-workouts I've got my hands on, or Gorilla Mode Nitric if all I want is a pump. But essentially, pre-workouts are something that can give you an extra push during your workout. It is by no means necessary if your main goal is to, build muscle and you're on a budget. And this kind of brings me into my second point, which is I kind of see my supplements as a pyramid, right? There are a few of them on the bottom that you should definitely be getting before you get, the really specific niche stuff at the top. My bottom tier supplements that I'll always get my hands on before getting anything else would be my multivitamin and the stuff that helps me sleep. Because one, the multivitamin covers all of really the nutritional needs that I don't get from my diet, and I have trouble sleeping, so those sleep supplements are a no-brainer for me. On that next tier of supplements, I'd probably put fish oil, D3, a lot of the specific vitamins. If you want to get like zinc or vitamin D3 on its own, that stuff you can put in like a second tier. Stuff like protein powder, creatine, things that you can kind of get from your diet but want to supplement more of. And then the last final tier, I would put pre-workouts and those specialized like workout supplements. I'll be honest with you, and it's gonna sound boring. If you're a newbie and you're trying to get into this and you're trying to add supplements into your daily routine, don't go for a pre-workout first before you address your nutritional needs and your sleep, because that stuff is gonna push the needle a lot further in terms of you getting bigger, stronger, or whatever. I see too many people just overlook having the basic stuff in their diet before they'll buy a $60 pre-workout. It's gonna get them amped up and keep them up all night. And guess what? When you're up all night off pre-workout, you're not gonna get any sleep. So what was the point of that workout? I do want to make a segment in this video of the broke boy stack, because I know all the stuff that I listed, if you add it up, it is expensive. By no means am I saying that this is cheap or affordable for everyone. So if you do want to take my advice seriously and you want to get into adding supplements into your daily routine, here are my top 3. 1, a multivitamin. It doesn't have to be the $60 Thorn monthly stack. Find an affordable one on Amazon that you can get your hands on every single month at a decent price and go for that. 2, fish oil. If you can get your hands on a decent fish oil, the one I use it's called Nordic Naturals or something like that. It doesn't have to be the most expensive one, but try to get one that's high in DHA. And then the last one is creatine. Creatine is probably one of the cheapest workout supplements that you can get your hands on that makes the biggest impact. You can get protein from your diet, but it's really hard to get creatine from your diet. So if you can add this into your stack, just these 3 things, I can almost guarantee that you're gonna see pretty big progress. I really want this video to be helpful to anyone who's kind of dipping their toe into wanting to buy supplements and putting their money into this, but you see a million different videos, a million different recommendations on what to buy, and you don't want to spend $600 a month on supplements. So I want to leave you with this. Stick to the basics and get the simple stuff first, and then start delving into what other levels of pre-workouts and other stuff you can get your hands on. If you feel like this video is going to be helpful for a friend of yours, be sure to share it with them. And if you have any comments for me or disagree with me, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.